Hi again then guys, and welcome to, in effect, another episode of Leash the Beast. And for any who are of course new to this series, basically what we do here is we take a car which is typically known for being good as far as potential, but at the same time challenging. The handling may be difficult to work with, maybe it's twitchy, unpredictable, a little bit too slippery, or a little bit too heavy. And that is certainly the case in the stock form of this car, which is of course the Nissan Nismo GT-R Le Mans car, the LMP1 vehicle. Highly experimental vehicle, only ran in the Le Mans once last year. Nissan immediately pulled the plug on the program afterwards due to the car not being quick enough. And that's a real shame, because I'm a huge fan of front-wheel drive LMPs. There aren't very many, most notably Nissan with this car, and Panoz with the LMP01 and a couple of others, but they just look so different to the other LMPs. I love the fact that they show imagination by trying something like this. It's just a shame that it didn't really pan out properly. Now, it's not surprising, to be honest, that it wasn't as quick as it should have been, because the boost system wasn't working. But that's enough for the backstory. In this series, I believe that taking a car to its full potential is the best way to find out how good it can really be when you take it to a lower PP. If you can bring it under control there, you can do it anywhere. So, we've fitted racing hard tyres on this one, because that's basically the tyre that you'd use in most circumstances. As far as our suspension, we have just rounded off the springs to 30, 50 and 9, the dampers to 3, the anti-roll we've left on 1, we've got neutral camber and toe. As far as the gearbox, you cannot adjust that, which is a real shame because it has a lot of potential. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque, the lowest acceleration, and the lowest braking on this one, and that really is the key to improving the handling on this car. As far as power, we do have an oil change, but that's of course all you can do with this. Again, unfortunately, we've got the maximum downforce, and we haven't affected the weight. So that's it overall for the setup. Now let's take it out to the Le Mans to see what it can actually do. So, to some degree, there are certain cars, and I've mentioned this before, that have certain characteristics which, by the nature of the car's mechanical design, are always going to be there. And in the case of this car, that is the front-wheel drive chassis. Now, to some extent, you can only put a certain amount of power and torque through a front-wheel drive chassis on a track car without getting negative results. You're going to have wheel spin, you're going to have torque steer, and to some degree at least you're going to have understeer. This car is never going to handle like a rear-wheel drive car. It's just not capable of that. However, this particular build does loosen up the handling a lot, because that is the main issue with this car. You cannot put your foot down without shredding the tyres and immediately getting strong understeer. We've eliminated that issue to a major degree. The handling is so much better than it originally was, and although you can of course still spin up the tyres, if you do put your foot down, it's no way near as bad as before. And of course, if you do put it on racing mediums or racing softs, it will be improved even more. And as it is, even though you cannot upgrade the power, which is a shame, this car can still get around the 2013 version of the Le Mans, which you can see here with the chicanes, in around 3.5 minutes, which is not bad at all, given that it doesn't have the advantages of upgrades that many of the other LMPs do. So, if you do decide to use this build, obviously I hope you find it fun, and it is definitely a lot more competitive than before. And if you'd like to keep up with other builds like this in the future, be sure to hit subscribe down below for that. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.